Welcome back to Flow and Tell. I'm Josi Flotron, and we're on the second part of how we play the game of GravityFlow Foundations. So last week we talked about the why. Why is flow like a game? And how this is fun. This takes you from one reality to another. This has a framework that you need to understand in order to properly play the game. And so this week we are going to look at how we play the game of GravityFlow Foundations. And in an amazing turn of events, it is a simple thing. It is something that anybody can learn in a very short amount of time. And the ability to take this practice and use it for yourself every day relies on really one single thing. Once you know how and you have the rope, the only thing that this really relies on is your choice. Your choice every day to play the game, to make it a game, to always be playing flow. It is a choice in the moment, and it is always your choice. So, this is a really nice thing to return to when life is life, and we're like, oh gosh, life is life. But when you remember that you have the choice to play the game of flow in any moment that you choose to pick up your rope, I mean, come on now. What better solution can you have to a moment that feels too heavy than to pick up a heavy rope and remember that you can move joyfully no matter what else might be going around outside of you? Once you've made the choice to play the game, how do you actually start that? Well, one of the things that we have seen through this whole video is that I am moving on a line, a pretty straight line, informed by, of course, the shifting sands that I'm choosing to flow on. But there is a line that runs up and down the beach. It is parallel to the ocean there behind me, and I am moving up and down along that line. Because I am moving up and down along that line and holding the rope is moving up and down along that line. This movement along the line is one of the ways that we create momentum. The heavier rope, through the movement along the line, can be charged with momentum that is then funneled back into our movement and makes the practice deeper, the motion easier, and more embodied and more fluid. This movement of the rope along the line is one of the objectives in gravity flow. We want to move the rope along the line. And there are two primary ways that we do that. We do that either horizontally or vertically. What you can see right now is me moving the rope along the one line, and I'm doing so horizontally. That's how we refer to it. The rope is coming out in a way that is like a 90-degree angle to my body. And then my body, looking down at the line in the sand, is at a 90-degree angle to the line beneath me. So when that rope was going out horizontally from me, that was one way of creating the shape and moving it along the line. And now I've shifted into the other way that we create the shape and move it along the line, and that is to be in a pendulum. The pendulum is moving vertically along the one line, and I'm a little bit boisterous in my movement right here, but you can see how the rope is moving back and forth, back and forth. It is rocking along the one line. It is, in essence, hanging. However I'm holding it, it is hanging and moving along the one line. But as soon as I began to change its rotation and have it, well, this isn't quite what we were going to look at. Don't mind this interlude here. Apparently, I have chosen to take what was GravityFlow Foundations and decide to rotate the rope all the way around like you would see with a lighter weight rope. This is my natural expression of joyful intuitive movement because I spend a lot of time with my heavy ropes. And yeah, so you see me doing some wraps and some back mills, and I'm going to return to a regular GravityFlow Foundation thing pretty soon. Yep, just about there. Okay, that was a great example, but let's now go back and look at, you see the one line, my footsteps can trace that right there along the beach. And I am now moving the rope horizontally to that one line. I am wagging the rope like a tail. This is different than what I was just doing before when I was talking about hanging the rope. in a pendulum and moving it vertically to the line. So the two ways that we move the rope are the two primary objectives that we put in place when we're playing this game. The objective is either to move it this way or that way, and to do so with as much smoothness as you can possibly create. I've gone ahead and taken a little edit here. This is a flow from just a few minutes later, but I had to change the battery on the drone. So now I've come back to it and I'm doing some single leg work. Single leg work can happen along with GravityFlow Foundations. It's pretty obvious that I'm not moving along the one line, but you can see how I am creating the wag motion and how the rope moves horizontal to my body. My body's straight up and down. The rope, as I wag it, is moving horizontal. That's, again, one of these super simple things that create this game. Are you moving it vertically or horizontally? And then in that motion, you're creating a specific shape. You're maintaining that shape in a way that is constantly moving towards smoothness. So here I'm going to step off from my single leg flamingo flow and find my one line again, most likely. And you can see the smoothness that I'm moving with, but the game of the smoothness when you were playing it is to hold awareness instead of judgment. That's how we play the game. We are aware of what our movement is in a way that is not judgmental, in a way that is allowing of the flow. If I'm aware that my movement feels jerky or hesitant or imbalanced, I can allow my movement to become smoother, become calmer, become more balanced. And it's a lot easier to allow it to become smoother when you're just aware of the fact that it could be smoother and not in a place of judging and making it wrong. If I'm sitting here condemning myself in the moment because I'm not playing the game as well as I want to play the game, I'm not setting myself up for success. I want to be aware of my movement without being judgmental of my movement. When we are able to do this, when we are able to play the game from a place of awareness, we have already won. And then it becomes a matter of the enjoyment and the fine-tuning of that enjoyment moment to moment. So let's recap a little bit here what we are doing when we are playing the game of GravityFlow Foundations. We are working with a rope that is heavier than we would normally be doing traditional rope flow movements with. We are using our movement up and down a line to put momentum into the rope and to give a framework for the different ways that we can move the rope, either horizontally or vertically. We're working with specific shapes, pendulums and wags that we create by actually creating the shape with the rope and then maintaining that shape. Here on the screen just now, I have dropped into a pendulum. It is sort of a half pendulum, but I am moving the rope along a one line. Technically, I'm taking forward steps, so I've kind of made a little shift, but you can see the one line behind me. I am making a pendulum. I'm creating the shape, and I'm going to maintain that shape while feeling for continued smoothness, continuing to deepen into that smoothness. These are the pieces that you can use in your flow with your heavy rope to create a game that anchors you in your present moment of movement so that you create the most joy and find the most benefit in each moment. There is so much more to say about GravityFlow Foundations and the movement of the rope inside and outside our expression of being. But for now, I will wish you happy flows until next week, and we will dive deeper into this and so much more. Thank you.